Roar. Growl. Snarl. Bellow.
Welcome to Paleobites, the podcast that's all about the saurus, and that it will give you a sore ass. My name's Matthew Dahl, and each week on a rotating series of guest co-hosts talk about and rate a genus of prehistoric animal, be it dinosaur, mammal, arthropod, and so on. This week I'm joined by Ben O'Regan. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Hi, everyone.
Oh, no, you're sick. You're sick. That's okay. Or you got the cough anyway, so.
Well, I was off this week due to it, and I was off not last week, but the week before for something else. Don't know what I caught.
God, I got so sick about a month ago or a couple weeks ago, to the point where I couldn't even sleep. Like, I was so full of phlegm that, like, every time I laid down, I just couldn't breathe.
I know what that's like. I've had that once or
so
twice.
I just couldn't sleep. Like, I would get, like, over a period of about 72 hours, I got about 6 hours of sleep that whole period. I wanted to sleep so bad, and I just couldn't. It was hell. I had a mix of allergies, but also influenza B, so that's what I ended up having. Yeah. I got a COVID test and a flu test. Tested negative on COVID, positive for flu, so that was fun. But still, I powered through and got episodes released because that's what I do, including the 300th episode, which just came out a couple weeks ago. But now we're on 302, and we're talking about a giant-ass pterosaur called Hatzegopteryx, which might, I think, have a bigger wingspan than Quetzalcoatlus, but is not as heavy, I think is what I heard. Maybe it's the other way around.
Yeah, well, you get variations like that, like Spinosaurus, even with the newer, more finalised reconstructions being shown now, like in Jurassic World Rebirth, which I haven't seen yet, admittedly. They're bigger than the Rex, but Rex is heavier.
Oh, okay, so early estimates have strongly exceeded this at 15 to 20 meter wingspan, 49 to 66 feet, though, but those are obviously like the early sort of going a bit crazy there, but
and the thing that's always hard to tell with pterosaurs is what their muscle mass would have been like. You can estimate it, but it's never going to be fully accurate, I think.
For sure. But you are my go-to pterosaur guy. Then when was our last non-pterosaur episode? I guess technically it was Scleromyclus, which was the one that was the pre-pterosaur, but I still count that, so hold on.
That's right. I vaguely remember that one. I need to listen to some of my own episodes that I recorded with you.
I'll send them like, it looks like it was Leptictidium was our last non. And we did Decodon as well. So
yeah. Funny thing is, I mean, I like pterosaurs. I would consider myself a pterosaur person insofar as being interested in them, but I wouldn't say I'm actually super knowledgeable about them.
Oh, well then, I don't know. I'm just doing this because this is what you told me. We don't have to do these.
I don't mind doing them. As we couldn't find any dinosaurs to do because all the ones I wanted to do you'd already done.
Yeah, well, let me know if you ever have more that you want to do. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm always keeping an eye down.
And also, it's good to like cover all the runs from Walking with dinosaurs that we haven't done yet. So
didn't we briefly do a New Zealand dinosaur episode? Like not any specific one, but just on how scant it was for Patreon, or was that something else?
I think we might have. I don't know. I prefer doing episodes on described species. I mean, I say that where last week's episode was actually not a fully described species. It was about the state dinosaur of Washington, which is basically, they think it might be Daspletosaurus, but we can't tell. It's called Suchiosaurus rex, but it's in quotation marks, so... Washington is not good for dinosaurs because it has volcanoes and it's got rain. It's not
Washington
good for
the state
fossils.
Or Washington DC?
Washington the state, I should say. Yes, Washington the state, because it's
isn't
got
it like
volcanoes.
A rainforest on the coast?
It's a rainforest. Yeah, it's a temperate rainforest, and it's also got volcanoes, both of which are terrible for the sediment preservation. So,
and on the other side, it's all Great Plains type stuff, which also isn't particularly good depending on the area.
Yeah, for sure. Anyways, but no, we're talking about Hatzegopteryx, which means the lizard, the wing of Hateg Basin, which is where the Hateg Island is.
Modern day Transylvania and Romania.
Yeah, that kind of area there too. So type is an azhdarchid pterosaur, which are basically bomber planes with teeth and talons instead of bombs. But then if they ate enough dwarf sauropods, they might still drop some bombs on occasion.
Yeah.
So,
well, they're basically flying giraffes, not literally, but just kind of that kind of appearance.
But they look like giraffes when they're walking. It's crazy. Size 33 to 39 feet, so that's 10 to 12 meter wingspan, with a height of 16 feet, so that's 5 meters off the ground. So yeah, this is basically a giraffe on the ground that could stab you and fly.
And while what was sort of already slowly underway from the early 2000s, this guy was one of the key figures in what you could call a pterosaur renaissance. Like, we now no longer view them all as fish eaters or outdated and on the decline in the late Cretaceous.
Yeah, for sure. Like, Walking with Dinosaurs said, like, oh, they're going extinct. The birds are too much for them. This very, very inaccurate version of Quetzalcoatlus is all that's left. And it's like, no, there's...
and wasn't that a badly edited Ornithopteryx?
It really was. Well, they reused models a ton. Some of it are more subtle than others. Like the
Tyrannosaurus is an Allosaurus.
Oh, no, I think that one's unique. The Allosaurus, the Eustreptospondylus, and the Polar Allosaurus are all the same model, but just edited.
Yeah, Australovenator, wasn't it now?
Yeah, now it's Australovenator, yeah. The fun thing about is like the Iguanodon was the base model for later on what they called Anatotitan, which is now Edmontosaurus.
Anatotitan sounds so much better.
Edmontosaurus rolls off the tongue for me easier. Anatotitan, I always kind of find myself stumbling with what's saying, but I get it.
Oh, yeah. It's not a criticism, just more it sounds grander kind of thing, like Anatotitan.
Yeah, as opposed to the dinosaur from the city of Edmonton.
Just imagine, like, you know, that generic trailer voice goes like, in a world.
Yes, in a world, there was a Anatotitan. It's like, how do you feel about Tyrannotitan? You know that one?
Isn't that a Tyrannosaur?
It is not. It is a Carcharodontosaur.
Oh, right, from South America.
Yeah, it is. So...
shows how out of the loop I am. Some
that's
names.
Okay. I mean, to be fair,
it's up to date, but
it's literally called Tyrannotitan. You get a pass.
It's more just like I still really love dinosaurs and everything, but I struggle to recall newer ones the way I did as a kid, where I could pick them up like a sponge.
Well, it's because we're not actively learning as much. But anyways,
your brain loses plasticity as you get older. It's also harder to change ideas as you age.
Yeah. Oh, don't remind me. I just turned 34 recently, and you're not too far away from that yourself. So, man,
I'll be 48.
30? What?
Friend, we said I'll be 48 just to see if it free you off.
Yeah, I was gonna say, have you been lying about your age this whole time? Surely not. So diet carnivore, time late Cretaceous, 73 to 71 million years ago, location Romania, like you were saying. At this time,
Europe back then was islands.
It was a bunch of islands. So Pods Travels, which was the Dinosaur Planet episode that I told you about off air just before we started recording, it's not on there. Hatzegopteryx is not featured in there, but it could have been because that's the same time and place. And the thing is, Pods Travels, I bring this up because that whole thing was this Pyroraptor gets lost on this island and finds a bunch of dinosaurs that are smaller. So you got like smaller versions of the iguanodontids. So normally he's used to like the rhabdodonts, which are the iguanodonts of the time. But then down there they get smaller ones like it's literally called Transylvaniosaurus.
It's basically island dwarfism and island gigantism.
Well, the thing is, Hatzegopteryx, the island dwarfism didn't apply to it because it was, it flew.
It flew,
yeah, so it had a cheat.
And because it flew, it probably also didn't need to lose the wings because it was equally at home on the ground and the land.
Right, so it could skip from island to island, picking up little Transylvaniosaurs or the dwarf sauropods, like Europasaurus, I believe, was on there. Yeah. So,
I mean, this thing probably had to do a lot of slow eating, like just picking strips off that its beak would butcher through, or swallowing smaller things whole. But either way, this thing would have been a fearsome predator, assuming that it was preying on the dwarf sauropods and iguanodontids and stuff. Imagine this thing walking at you in the fog.
Oh, that sounds horrifying. It's like Slender Man. It's like, especially at night. Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, and you just hear that like honking light noise that I think it was Prehistoric Planet or whatever. Did you know that one Attenborough recently did with the X Walking with Dinosaurs guys?
Yeah. Did you see? Are you talking about Prehistoric Planet?
Prehistoric Planet, I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, which
or
is
whatever
it.
the one was that Attenborough just recently did.
Yes, Prehistoric Planet. They announced a new season of that, by the way, but it's going to be on the Ice Age.
Cool. It sounds like it'll be better than the Walking with Dinosaurs reboot. I haven't seen that, but apparently it was quite lazy.
It did the classic thing that a lot of documentaries are doing now that I hate. I don't know why they do this, where they cut to the modern day and have people talking for like 75% of the runtime. Like,
it's bloody annoying.
the whole point of Walking with Dinosaurs is that you don't do that in order to keep the immersion. Like, so, like, to keep you feeling like you're in prehistoric times the whole time. And well, that's what Walking Dinosaurs did. That's what Prehistoric Planet does. But, like, Life on Our Planet, which is a Netflix one, which I will always be slightly fond of because it has a sign raptor in it. But it does cut to the modern day a lot. It doesn't have modern... it doesn't have paleontologists talking. It just uses modern animals to talk about old animals a lot. So
yeah. And like, it's different if it's a pseudo-documentary style thing in the style of like what Nigel Marven did with some of the Walking with
right. Well,
spin-offs.
that's obviously that's a whole
different.
gimmick there of like but even then they're back in time the whole time, with the exception of Prehistoric Park where they obviously have the time portals. So, but
because another example of what you're talking about, like if you ever saw any of Animal Planet's lost tape stuff,
well, another
like, I get that they're doing a bit of explaining in that about for these false found footage, but like when you're watching the zombie one and they keep jumping back to Max Brooks' author of the Zombie Survival Guide and stuff, it's good to get a partial explanation, but when they do it for like half of the bloody runtime, you're like, I just want to see this badly acted found footage, please.
For sure. Well, like another recent example is Alien Worlds, also on Netflix. I was so looking forward to that, and oh my god, it's like 90% just random things in the modern day, 10% CGI. Alien Worlds, which are kind of cool looking, but they didn't, and they had so many cool ideas in it. Like it was. Like they had a planet that was really high on gravity, but it had a really thick but it did the opposite what you would think. It was really high on gravity, really high gravity because it's really big, but it was able to retain a really thick atmosphere because of that gravity, and therefore could have really big flying animals, which is something I didn't think about. But like, I thought if you had really big flying animals, you have to have low gravity, but no, this is high gravity, so. So, Acast described in 2002. Pop culture appearances, surprisingly underutilized, but it does show him on Planet Dinosaur and in Prehistoric Planet. And like I said, even though it's in Planet Dinosaur, it's not in Dinosaur Planet. It's not to confuse the Planet Dinosaur. It's the same thing, but just the compound inverted. Because there's a whole segment there, Pod's travels, which took place on the Hateg Islands. And, but as I said, it was described in 2002. Dinosaur Planet was produced in 2002 and came out in 2003. Now, I guess they could have been like Walking with Dinosaurs, where they included some things based on scant remains that weren't described yet, like the aforementioned polar allosaur. But I guess they didn't. They were already too far into production, and they're like, let's not add this thing into it. It doesn't go with our plans.
Yeah. They did that a few times throughout the series, especially with like, Walking with Monsters, where the Mesophile, the big giant spider.
Originally supposed to be Megarachne until they're like, crap,
scorpion.
this was a sea scorpion, not a big spider. So,
didn't it turn out to be a terrestrial sea scorpion?
Yeah. It did. Well, terrestrial Eurypterid, as opposed to Brontoscorpio,
which
Brontoscorpio isn't a Eurypterid. It's an actual scorpion. I learned that recently.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's actually a true scorpion. And also, the Walking with Dinosaurs, the Walking With does that a lot. Walking with Beasts, for instance, the Calicotheres in the segment with the Indricotheres, completely made up. There is no evidence of Calicotheres in that time and place, but they needed a representative for them, and they're like, this is just something that hasn't been discovered yet at that time. So, because
understandable.
It looks like it's like it would, knowing the history of Calicotheres, they might be around then. It makes sense. We just haven't found anything yet, so it's a fictional version.
Ghost lineage and stuff.
Yeah. So the Calicotheres in that episode are completely fictional. So, but but no, I guess with Dinosaur Planet, they didn't. I guess they weren't as up to date with it, or they just didn't bother. Like they're like, it's not part of our story. So, because knowing how the story is, it would have been scary. Because like there's a big portion where Pod is trapped on a log from a tsunami, and he's with his sister, who's part of his pack. The sister gets eaten by a big elasmosaur, though, and I feel like. if there was a like the last where it just dips his head out and just grabs the sister and just drags her underwater, and like poor Pod, they're both so weak they can't really do anything until he gets washed on the beach of the island. But I feel like if there was a Hatzegopteryx flying about, he would have been hosed.
He'd be screwed.
Yeah, like he would have been plucked off immediately. So
especially if you're small enough that it can pick you up in the air and drop you without too much trouble, but too big for it to eat in one thing. It can then just fling you down and
is like it's small. It's like the same size as the real life Velociraptor, if not even a little bit smaller. So like, but in terms of Hatzegopteryx, so. Like it was found. The first remains of Romania were found in 1899, and the first remains of Hatzegopteryx itself were found in the 1970s. I find that so fascinating how long it takes for species to get described. So, like if it was,
I think it depends on who's doing it too. Like some species are described virtually after discovery. Others, yeah, like you said, they sit there.
Yes, from the 1970s to 2002. Like, what were you doing? Like.
Well, I mean, if it was found in there in the 1970s, Romania was Eastern Bloc at the time, so...
Yeah, I guess it's true. It would have been, like, against politics, Soviet stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't stop, like, all the fossil remains that the Russo-Mongolian expeditions found during the Cold War.
Well, right, that's what we were talking about.
Triceratops.
Yeah.
No, Protoceratops and Velociraptor, I mean.
Yeah, I think I talked about that in the Protoceratops episode.
That might have played a part.
Yeah, it's interesting how that kind of... Like, that's why I was like... Kyrgyzstan is getting slightly more important with fossil finds now that they found more stuff there, and that used to be a Soviet territory. So a new Metriacanthosaurid was found there recently, the Sinraptor family. So it's called Alpkarakush. Alpkarakush is what it's called. It's named after a local legend. So, but.
I think part of what made going there wasn't just the whole US-Russian relations, because they're all part of the CIS, or Commonwealth of Independent States, but also just a lot of those Central Asian republics, not all of them, but I know at least one of them's like a really weird dysfunctional family dictatorship, if my information's correct, so there's probably a lot of BS going on there that puts people off.
So the skull and the skull of Hatzegopteryx is 8 feet long, or 2.5 meters, and it's the largest. It's among the largest skulls among non-marine animals. So, I guess only whales kind of beat it. And also, the neck vertebrae is short and unusually robust. So, like, there's a similarly giant azhdarchid called Aramborginia. I don't know how to pronounce it.
I'm not even going to try pronouncing that.
Arambourgiania. Aramborginia.
Oh, yeah, they even showed on the topology under there.
Yeah.
Aramborginia Philadelphia.
Yeah, okay, well, I wonder where it's from.
Wait, there's two Quetzalcoatlus. There's Quetzalcoatlus lawsoni and then Quetzalcoatlus northropi.
Oh, yeah, Northropi. That's the one that in Dinotopia, the world beneath, are huge at the end.
Yeah, two of them appear to rescue them as the strutters go down in the sea.
Right. And then,
I would love for a faithful adaptation of that, not that half-assed one we got in the early 2000s that everyone's forgotten about.
I mean, nostalgia, but I didn't mind the half. I mean, again, I was a kid, so nostalgia, but I didn't mind it.
It was more they treated the Dinotopians like they were dumb for being pacifists, and to a degree, pacifism can be dumb, but in Dinotopia, it works.
Well, like, I think the biggest problem with that is that it was in the modern day. So they had to explain why they weren't more technologically advanced, which means they're like, oh, they're naive, oh, they're dumb, oh, they're like other stuff. And it's like by having it be in the 1800s, like the books are, it just makes more sense. Also, it makes
or even just around World War I or the Edwardian era would have been fine.
Yeah, well, because like if it's post-satellite, it also just makes it more magical seeming, like more outwardly magical. Because like if we have satellites, why would we not have seen it? So.
Yeah, like even if we can't see on the island, we'll certainly see that there's something there because of the constant unnatural storm belt.
I mean, it's a big continent that has all this other stuff. I've always talked about Dinotopia is far
Isn't
smaller.
Isn't it the size of Texas?
It's huge. Like we would see it. Like so. But anyways, so the bottom of the neck vertebrae of I was bringing up Aramborginia or whatever. Its surface is less than 2.6 millimeters thick, and for Hatzegopteryx, it's 4 to 6 millimeters thick. So this implies with the shorter neck but thicker neck, that implies to me that
predatory behavior on the ground.
Yeah, and not just that. I think it implies that it picked stuff up and carried it more than Orambush, because I had to use that.
Probably did more walking than flying, in all honesty.
Yeah, maybe not fly. Yeah, it might have not carried it off via flying, but I think it would have walked on the ground, grabbed something, and carried it while running away, which means it would have to use that neck. So,
and it says something about the azhdarchid and just pterosaur body plan in general. In most cases, that they really didn't need to alter themselves much or even give up their flight to adapt to a terrestrial existence or a terrestrial everyone, because like we now think what's the name, what's the one that appears Tapagyra and that, but we now think they were like not necessarily fruit eaters but a similar type of role, like frugivores or something.
Yeah, for sure. I do love and based on that episode, I love that they thought Ornithocyrus, which obviously it has different names. We now think it's Trothognathus now. That's a long story. Ornithocyrus itself is known, I think, from Europe, but Trothognathus is known from Brazil. And back then they were both Ornithocyrus, so they came up with the idea of what if it's the same species migrating a long ways. So
like Giraffe-titan and Brachiosaurus. Most Brachiosaurus you see are actually Giraffe-titan.
Yes, exactly. So because we didn't have a full skeleton of Brachiosaurus until after it was separated, I think. So some people wondered if these big guys were flightless, but no, this definitely wasn't, especially considering it didn't suffer the island dwarfism that all the other creatures got. And I don't think this would be subject to island gigantism, which is a completely different thing, because well, maybe it could have if it was, because the reason island gigantism happens is that there's no competition. But I feel like if you're that...
usually you'll get something that goes there and it's too big, so it shrinks to make the most of the resources, and then something else small goes there and jumps up.
Yeah, island dwarfism is when there's less resources, so it favors a smaller body size. But island gigantism is when it's like
you get like big rats.
Yeah, like there's less competition, so you get bigger. There's a very interesting case where both happened on the same island at the same time. Are you aware of the dwarf elephant Paleoloxodon living along?
Yeah, the one that Homo floresius hunted.
Yeah.
And it had a big rat living there.
Well, it was a big swan. There was a swan in like Malta. And like there's these swans, there's called Cygnus falconeri or whatever, and they are...
Oh, my bad. I was thinking of Stegodon, not Paleoloxodon.
Yeah, Stegodon, that's the one in this is in Europe. Yeah, that in Africa.
My bad, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. No, you're thinking of Stegodon.
I just know that island had the same situation where you had like massive rats, and the Komodo dragon itself was a case of insular dwarfism too, because they're actually megalanias.
Right. But that was back when lizards ate elephants. But no, if you look at like the big swans next to these elephants, it makes the swans seem absolutely massive, because it throws your sense of scale off completely, because you're seeing these swans towering over these elephants when really the swans are just a little bit bigger and the elephants are a lot smaller. So all right, there you go. That's Cygnus falconeri next to Paleoloxodon.
Crikey.
Yeah. So yeah, it makes these swans seem utterly gigantic when they're
not actually
big.
That much bigger.
They're big, but not that. They have like a 9 or 10 foot wingspan, which again is huge, but it's not like bigger than a modern elephant. The elephants are just so small.
Yeah,
it warps that sense of scale. So
yeah, that is bloody hell.
So imagine Hatzegopteryx like this thing. So, but anyways,
yeah, I can.
Alright, well, let's rate Hatzegopteryx 1 out of 65 million. I'm going to rate it at 62 million. It only loses points because I'm not really a pterosaur guy. It's personal preference. But other than that,
I'll rate it 65 for the fact that I am a pterosaur guy.
Oh, well, there you go. Okay.
This thing's going to give me bloody nightmare fuel now that I've
especially if you imagine it like in the fog, like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's it for this week. If you want to get a hold of the show, you can contact me at palebytespodcast@gmail.com. Palebytes Podcast on Blue Sky and Matthew Dollard 64 on everywhere except for Facebook with Mike Dollard Creator. If you want to contact Ben, just contact me through those emails or whatever, and just do relay. He's on Facebook, but he doesn't have a professional social media, so don't friend him on Facebook. That's weird. So
Yeah, I block people I don't know sending me requests.
Fair enough. I get so much spam lately, and I get so many bots, especially on the Instagram. There's so many.
I'm getting a lot of that in the Facebook chats where I'm getting randomly put into these cam bot things for like e-girls, and I'm like,
oh yeah, no,
if I want to watch something like that, I'll just go to a porno website.
Yeah,
no,
like there's like I've got options. I don't need you. Man. I have a book series on Amazon Megazoic available for print and Kindle. I don't believe I mentioned Hatzegopteryx. I mentioned Quetzalcoatlus, but I don't mention Hatzegopteryx.
No, I don't think you do, but then I have to reread them because I skimmed read them.
Yeah, that's fine. But, all right. Well, that's it for this week.
It's just hard to read on the phone for some reason.
No, I get that for sure. It's hard for me for sure. I need physical books.
Like I do it with fan fiction, but that's because fan fiction isn't books, you know?
Yeah, no, fair enough. Oh, wait, I forgot to mention, Hatzegopteryx is in Jurassic World: The Game as well. It's not a pop culture experience for it, but it's a common creature there in terms of rarity, which I always find super weird. But Ludia, it has my soul in my wallet. But all right, so long, guys.
See you, everyone.
Thanks for listening. If you want to further support the show, you should subscribe to my Patreon at patreon.com/MatthewDonald, where you can get ad-free episodes and you can get the raw, unedited episodes. So go and check it out at patreon.com/MatthewDonald. Thank you so much for listening, and have a good day. Chomp.